Hello, everybody. My name is Anthony Garay, and the title of my presentation is called Institutional Infamy Law Enforcement. So I'm really hoping to focus on the negative limelight law enforcement is put under in today's social and political climate, and I'm planning on having my final paper address the media's influence in the highlight of law enforcement actions, specifically pertaining to the use of force element when officers respond. Okay, so starting with my first source, the work I'll be using is called Policing Reform, Civilian Oversight, and More. After months of protest, voters decide by author C. Corley. All right, so there's tons of reason why this source actually helps me out. So it explains the negative effects the media has on law enforcement, but this article focuses on the reforms being sought by different states. I won't get into detail about which reforms are specifically included within this article, but I will include them in my final paper if you're lucky enough to read that. So, haha. Okay, so because the reforms that some states are seeking law enforcement occupations would be significantly affected should those states choose to adopt their proposals. All that information will be included within my paper, and for now I'm focusing on this source, and that's already good enough right there, but let me continue. It also provides unbiased opinions and reports on state positions regarding each reform proposed, and it also includes reform proposals from swing, liberal, and conservative-leaning states such as Michigan, California, and Texas, respectively. Okay, continuing on to my second source, it's called Use of Force by Police, Overview of National and Local Data by a bunch of authors, and covering chapters 4, 5, and 6 specifically. Okay, so this source would be excellent for me to use in my final paper because it includes information on data relating to 6 different jurisdictions of use of force and interprets why certain tactics are used by law enforcement. It also presents data on the use of force and addresses the problem collecting that data, but most importantly, it focuses on the excessive use of force by police and mentions difficulty obtaining such data because when officers are in the moment of the situation, it's difficult to accurately recall every detail of the event that took place. It also tackles the argument of disproportionate treatment from police by providing logistics and definitions on the use of force while giving us some situations in which force was being used. Okay, now finishing off, my last source I'll be including in this presentation is by author T. McEwen. It's called the National Data Collection on Police Use of Force. This is going to be my most vital source, I believe. I'll be using my final paper, and I can't wait to start forming my arguments using it, honestly. Okay, sorry, I geeked out a little bit. All right, so why this source? Well, it addresses the use of force by officers and provides methods of data collection on that use of force. Additionally, it substantiates the use of force data presented to the public while including federal and national responses. So not only am I going to be including why the data we see is accurate, but I also look forward to addressing why the data seems to be representing minorities or people of color negatively. Additionally, it serves as a collection of efforts on data retrieval on behalf of the US, and it emphasizes the definitions of use of force from law enforcement and civilian perspectives. And those are just 3 of the sources I'll be using to write my final paper on the negative limelight law enforcement finds themselves in today. And here is my opening paragraph to show everyone what I'll be writing about. And I think it's pretty interesting, but I don't know, let me know or something. Okay, I'm gonna read. In today's political and social climate, one thing is certain. Law enforcement has the biggest target on their back and not in a good way. Because of this, many people and states have sought reform in order to right the wrongs of police and adopt more liberal methods of law enforcement. Even though everyone can accept that there are bad eggs in every occupation, evidence will show that law enforcement agencies are not solely at fault, and that the data that public is recognizing is unbiased and dispassionate. Police reform is centered around the perception of unlawful misconduct by law enforcement officers when it should be focused on the training they receive on situational decision-making. And that's my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys will pretty much know what I'm going to be writing about. If you guys don't know by now, that's kind of bad. But again, it's going to be focusing on the negative limelight that law enforcement sees themselves in today. Alrighty, thank you.